I went through years of guilt, thinking that I must have done something to deserve that.
I knew if I told someone, they would say it's my fault.
I thought I was going to die without ever having spoken about the abuse that happened to me.
When you've been sexually abused as a child, it can take years or even decades to process what happened.
That's why we changed the law and passed the Child Victims Act.
The Child Victims Act means that survivors have more time to bring our abusers
And the institutions that may have protected them
To justice in the courts.
I was in my 40s before I could even tell someone what happened, let alone think about going to the police or to a lawyer. When I finally did, it was too late because of New York's strict statute of limitations.
Survivors can now file a criminal claim up to age 28 years old.
And up to age 55 years old for a civil claim.
And starting on August 14th,
for only 1 year.
Survivors who were previously told that we were too old or that it was too late to file a civil lawsuit
Will now be able to do exactly that.
No matter how long ago the abuse happened.
Anyone can do it.
anyone.
Anyone.
Every survivor has the right to pursue justice in the courts
if that's what's right for you.
Find out more about the Child Victims Act by going to safehorizon.org.
Even if it's just to talk to someone. Because that's what I did.
But remember, whatever you decide to do,
It's up to you.
And you're not alone.
because now
it's our choice.
It's our choice.
It's our choice.
Definitely. I mean, coming into the legislature, I wasn't even expecting to have this bill come up. And no one knew that I, too, was a victim of child sex abuse. So when this was presented to me a few years ago, it was obviously very controversial, and they wanted to dilute the bill and so forth. And I was one of the legislators that said, no. You know, I know how it feels to be molested. I know how it feels to be depressed. I know how it feels to be have post-traumatic anxiety. We need to protect our children out there.
Now, as you heard before, each year 700 women die of pregnancy-related causes in the U.S., and a disproportionate number of them are Black women, according to the Center for Disease Control. I cannot express how important this is to me because on October 4th, 2016, when I was pregnant, I was rushed to New York Presbyterian Columbia Hospital after realizing I was dilating. And even with the emotional and excruciating pain, Columbia Hospital turned me away. Because of hospital policies, they said that they had no beds. And so I interpret it as, you're sending me home to die with my baby. They sent me away. And never once did I tell them that I was an elected official. They treated me horrible. So, this bill would expand the speed cameras to cover 100% elementary schools. As if I know it, and most junior high school. As I know it as today, it covers only a small percentage. I was almost killed at the age of 10 while crossing the street. There was not a traffic light. A speeding car hit me and continued to speed. I was a hit and run victim. And then later, the car returned to the spot because someone had followed them. As a result of this whole incident, I've been permanently damaged. Every day I wake up limping with pain as a remembrance of what happened 30-something years ago. This bill will save lives. The safety of our children is not a bargaining political chip. This bill will remove the obstacles laid for undocumented students who came here as a child. They will finally be eligible for financial aid, scholarship, and access to college tuition. And I must say, a child of Haitian immigrants, I often think about the many relatives that came here undocumented. Tout ti moun nou konnen ki pa gen papye yo, kabal l'école. Yes, yo kabal le collège. Peut-être nous konnen sacrifice nous fait pour pays ça. Jodi an, nous capables. Nous capables. Nous capables. Again, I want to thank the speaker, my colleagues, and everyone for supporting MWBE and economic diversity and economic inclusion. Thank you. I want to thank the speaker and the chair of housing on this very, very important and historic piece of legislation, which is the Housing Stability and Tenant Protection Act of 2019. And this as it relates to rent control, rent stabilization, vacancy decontrol, increase in rent, and eviction protections, fixes and repairs, all of which is to be repealed. The many of the injustices that slum landlord and their lawyers and the court system have caused our New York tenants to be homeless, unstable, abused, and economically challenged. For a very long time, the rent has been too damn high, and it's still too damn high. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to speak on this resolution to commemorate the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., one of this world's greatest hero. In 1963, Dr. King came to Plymouth Church in Brooklyn Heights, Brooklyn, and delivered a sermon called The American Dream. He was working out the themes that would become his I Have a Dream speech 6 months later on Washington, D.C. And in this sermon, Dr. King preached, we must all learn to live together as brothers, or we will perish together as fools. Today, we can say we must all live together as brothers and sisters, or we will perish together as fools. This day will always be memorable to me, not only because he was a humanitarian who fought for freedom, equality, and socioeconomic justice, but also on this very day. It is with humility that I was recently elected to be the first woman county party leader in Brooklyn, the same borough where he preached in 1963, the American Dream. I must say this would not have happened without a revolution that he led and without the radical spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to fight for all of us. Happy birthday, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.